Hey friends. So, makeup and movie reviews, right? Because what the fuck else do I have to do with my life? Can we just talk about Malignant for a minute? Because this video will contain spoilers, so if you have not seen it and you want to see it, don't want it to be ruined, I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, don't watch. Okay, so first of all, where did this movie come from, right? Because, like, usually those big movies, especially James Wan movies and the Conjuring universe, like, they start talking about them shits like a year in advance, getting people all hyped up and ready, right? And then this one is just kind of like, oh, by the way, there's a new James Wan movie in theaters already. Well, okay. I hadn't heard about the movie until, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe. I'm using the Becca Evermatte primer on my forehead because my forehead's shit's be greasy as fuck. Like, I don't know if I'd be like cooking bacon on my forehead or some shit during the day. Don't know about it, but so I saw the preview when we went to go see some other shit, Candyman. Went to go see Candyman like a week or two ago and saw the trailer for Malignant, right? So I wasn't like, you know, blown away or anything by it, but it's a horror movie. It's by James Wan, so of course I want to fucking see it because, you know, that's what I do, right? So my daughter actually went to see it over the weekend and had asked her, you know, what she thought of it. She said it was good. She said it was scary, and I'm like, okay, you know, because this chick likes scary movies just like I do. So I'm like, all right, well, if she thinks it's scary, then that shit must be good, right? So I saw it was playing on HBO Max, which was great. So I'm like, okay, I ain't got to spend my ducats to go to the movie theater, right? Watch that shit from home on my couch in my damn pajamas. Perfect. So I'm like, okay. Watch the movie. Can we watch the movie? So it was weird. Like, it was weird as hell. The way that it started, and then how it just like jumped to present day, like with no explanation. And even though it was present day, like the shits was like not present in this decade or whatever, because bitch had an old ass car, she had an old ass house, like her blender was like from 1980. So that kind of confused me. I was like, maybe she just likes old shit. I don't know, but I was confused for a hot minute. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I kind of feel like this big twist, I want to say I pretty much was already thinking that shit after you know, when she was attacked in her house and her husband was murdered. I started thinking that way at that point already. So, I mean, I don't know if, you know, other people were thinking that. But then at the point where I barely even remember the fucking movie, so I guess it wasn't that good after all. But there was a point where they were showing Gabriel, well, whatever his fucking name was. And I was like, I bet that shit's her. I bet that's her. It just was too, it was like obvious. I mean, it was obvious, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's too obvious. So maybe there is a twist. Like, maybe it's not her. Maybe it's like, I don't know. I just felt like the twist was too obvious to be a twist. So I was waiting for another twist. But I was twisted inside of my disappointment because you know, that was it. Now, so the concept, right? It was a decent concept. I mean, I think the storyline actually was interesting and it had potential, like I said, but I mean, okay, so let's see. First of all, there were just too many loose ends. I mean, which they did eventually tie up it just took really long, and I felt like I spent a lot of the movie confused, which I don't like because, you know, generally, like, I tend to check out and I'll be like, fuck, you know, whatever. But so at the end, when they had put her in jail, she was in the cell with all them, you know, rough looking bitches from Orange is the New Black. And that's kind of when, for me, it just started to go left, because the way she killed everybody in that cell, you know, that face black people make when you tell them something and they ain't believing the word you're saying. Like, that's how I was watching this movie. Like, she killed everybody in that goddamn cell one by one, and they all just, come on. And then the dumbass cop, you know, when the last bitch standing was screaming for the guard, and you know, the dumbass cop gonna cut, like, now he walks up and he sees all the fucking dead bodies all over the floor, but his dumbass is still gonna take his little retarded ass head right up to the bars and stick his arm in. Like, what you think was gonna happen, bro? Like, okay. So then she gets out, she kills him, of course, takes his keys and gets out of the cell, and then she's going to look for her shit, right? So then she's in the, whatever the hell they call that room where all the police officers, detectives, desks and shit are. This bitch killed like 30 cops. Just killed 30 cops. But the main two characters, for some reason, weren't able to be killed. And they wasn't that great of cops anyway. So I don't know how the hell they survived it. But they survived it, of course, because they were main characters. So, again, unbelievable. Like, ridiculous, you know? So this is what gets me, though. That fucking basket head bitch ass whatever popping out the back of her damn head. Like, I remember the first time I saw Insidious, right? And they showed the little red devil face bitch in the background behind the dude head. And it was scary. Like, I jumped and shit. But when I actually saw the shit again, and I'm like, that looked like a motherfucking 1984 Party City Halloween mask. Like, that shit it was so cheesy. But it was something that you only saw for a second. And, you know, the way that it kind of, like, popped out. Yeah, it was a little terrifying. But this, like, bro, they could have used CGI. They could have used, I don't know, they could have done so many other, I don't think this is a good angle. Hang on. Shit. They could have done better. They could have done better. Because that shit was corny. It was corny. It was, you know, I mean, I'm not a doctor and I don't know medical shit, and I don't even know if that's something that's possible. Not that it matters, because, you know, horror movies aren't supposed to be realistic and believable, but, you know, you kind of want them to, fuck, I don't know. But anyway, the shit on the back of her head that was supposed to be another person, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so but I mean, again, like, the storyline was kind of interesting. Like, it I feel like it could have been good. It just needed a little more. Man, maybe that's why the hell we didn't hear about the shit. Maybe he wrote it, I don't know, last month while he was taking a shit. I don't know. But, you know, there could have been a little bit more something put into it. I don't know. I mean, it had the potential to be good, but alas, it was not. Well, no, I won't say it was not good. I mean, it was. It was all right. But, would I watch it again? I don't know. Funny thing is, I typically don't watch movies more than once, because I feel like once I've seen it, what the fuck I gotta watch it again for? Unless it was something that, like, I really, really loved, which, you know, There haven't been many. Like the Conjuring movies and the Annabelle movies, some of them I've seen, you know, multiple times. Not many, but yeah, so, but I probably won't watch it again. I don't know. But yeah, so once I had seen the preview, you know, because I'm in a boatload of horror groups on Facebook or whatever. So once I had seen the previews, you know, I started seeing, you know, people's opinions of it popping up, and I heard people talking about the twist. Oh, the twist. So part of me wonders, you know, if I didn't know there was a twist, would I have figured it out? Because, you know, when you know there's a twist, you're going to be looking for a twist, right? So maybe that's why I figured it out so quickly, because I knew that it was going to be a twist. But again, I mean, I don't know if you want to call that yeah, I guess it was a twist. I don't feel like if it's predictable, I don't feel like it's a twist if it's predictable. Like, you know, I don't, you know. But anyway, so what I say is leave the twist to M. Night Shyamalan, because that motherfucker can twist. He can twist. He can twist a movie and a plot. So leave the twist to him. And James Wan just needs to stick to like scaring people and shit, because yeah, I don't know. So yeah, so like I said, a week or two before, we went to see Candyman, okay. Now this movie has had a lot of criticism. A lot of people don't like it. And I kind of feel like myself, a lot of people went into this movie expecting it to be a copycat of the original. And it wasn't. It's hard to explain. See, it was not a sequel, but it kind of was a sequel, but it wasn't a remake. So you know how Rob Zombie remade Halloween, right? And it was the same movie, same character, same plot, right? It was a remake. And then you know how they redid the Child's Play movie, right? With Chucky a couple of years ago. Same characters, but it was a completely different movie. Like the plot, the storyline was completely different. And so it was kind of like neither of those. I don't know how to explain it really, but it just was a fucking different movie. Not different in the sense that it strayed completely off of the original, because it didn't. I mean, it talked about it, it mentioned it, which, you know, in a sense was kind of like, well, it's not a remake because they're mentioning the original, you know, parts from the original. And then it had sequel-like qualities because it had, you know, the same characters in the same roles, and they talked about the same characters from the original in those same roles. So it has sequel-esque vibes, but a lot of people didn't seem to like it because they felt like it was a political movie. And those people, I'm like, oh, did you not fucking pay attention to the original? Because, you know, to me, it just seems like as soon as you start talking about social justice and racial equality, some people lose interest immediately because, you know, they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to hear about it. Unfortunately, some of us don't have the luxury of just closing our eyes and pretending that shit doesn't exist when we don't feel like being bothered. So yeah, screw you people. But so I enjoyed the movie once I got it in my head that, okay, this is not going to be a cookie cutter remake. It's not going to be the same exact thing as what I was expecting. So once I let go of my expectations, I was able to enjoy the movie for what it was, right? Again, there were some people doing dumb shit, but I guess, you know, that's a horror movie. And I guess if people don't do dumb shit, then there is no movie. So, but what I really was disappointed about was the kills were mild. They were mild, which is odd compared to the things, considering the things that we see on TV, on the screen today, compared to the things that we saw 30 years ago. I feel like the kills in the original Candyman were much more brutal, much more fun to watch. And this one just, I don't know, like that was disappointing to me. That was disappointing to me, but whatever. That movie, would I watch it again? I don't know. My eyebrows take the longest out of anything because I have just kind of accepted the fact that my face is fucking crooked, and no matter how hard I try, I can never get them to look the same. So I just try to get as close as possible. Yeah, so I don't know if I will watch it again. I kind of feel like I really don't need to. That being said, though, when I saw Hereditary for the first time, and I was pissed the fuck off because I thought it was the dumbest movie I'd ever laid eyes on. I was pissed, but after, I don't know, maybe when did I watch it again? I watched it again last year, so I don't know when it came out, 2018, some shit like that. I don't know. So 2 years later, I decided to watch it again. Wanted to give it another try. And I will say, even though I was still kind of disappointed at the ending, I did actually enjoy the movie more when I watched it the second time. So I kind of feel like maybe sometimes I do need to go back and watch things again. But yeah, so maybe, what the hell? Maybe, no, bitch, I don't have COVID. Maybe Malignant I will watch again. Because also I feel like, if you're watching a movie that's been talked about and you kind of know to expect something, it's like you spend the movie waiting. You're watching for the twist. You're waiting for the big climax to happen. So maybe that's why movies are better the second time around sometimes, because you already know what's going to happen. So you're not so engulfed into the anticipation that you can actually just enjoy the story. So yeah, I just talked myself into watching it again. I'm going to watch it again. They look nothing alike, but at this point, I don't care anymore because I'm not sitting here all day doing my fucking eyebrows. Yeah, so what about Clickbait? Did you guys watch that? Listen, you want to talk about anxiety? That movie, I swear, I feel like at one point, I thought everybody in the whole movie did that shit. I thought everybody kidnapped Nick. Now that was a twist. I don't know who wrote or produced that shit, but that was a twist. Okay? Like, they can do twists all day long. Because that was a twist. Like, I was not expecting that. I was disappointed. I was disappointed because I kind of feel like that poor man died. Like, and it wasn't even a good reason. It was just because some old lady was bored. Like, that's weird, but okay, whatever. But I feel like I've been watching horror movies for so long, and I don't know if it's like I'm jaded or just like extra cynical, but I was suspicious about everybody in that damn movie. Like everybody was a bad guy. Everybody. But it was good. It was good. I kind of wish, like limited series, so I guess it's over, but I kind of wish there was a way they could kind of continue the story. We know what happened, but still, if there was a way to kind of just keep it going, I don't know, maybe with a new subject. I don't know. It was good. What else is on Netflix? So there's a show called Slasher, right? And I believe right now it's in its 4th season. Every season the storyline is completely different. It's completely different. So the first season was absolutely, phenomenal. The second season was even better. The third season, it started to lose steam for me. I mean, it was still good and I still watched it, but like the current season, typically when there's a show that I fuck with that come on, I will binge watch the shit out of a show, right? But this season, it's been on for a couple of months, and I think I've barely made it through half of the season, just because it's weird, because there are shows and movies that I've watched that I've enjoyed, or shows that I've enjoyed, but I just stopped watching them, and I don't really know why. Like with this, the storyline is a little weird, but I mean, the episodes that I've watched so far, they've been pretty suspenseful, hella gory, which I love me some gore. I just don't know why I'm having such trouble just kind of like sticking with it. I don't know. So this season, there's this huge extended family, and it's weird because I'm still trying to figure out all the moving parts to it. But this fucking old ass rich white guy and his kids, and he's got kids with different folks or whatever. So he croaks, and in his will, he lives on this like deserted island somewhere or some shit like that. And so in his will, the family has to compete in these, I don't know, weird ass sadistic games in order to get any of his inheritance. Spoiler alert. So one of his daughters, she had these 2 sons, and one of the sons went missing. He was kidnapped or whatever when they were little. I don't know, like 8-10 years old, some shit like that. So they all come to this island, after, and this was like, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. They all come to this island for, their father's last days or whatever. And so right off the bat, the one thing that's like weird as shit, this brother, the little boy that's been missing for like 20 years, like he's on the island just chilling, right? So the family is like, his little brother, he's been harboring this guilt for all of these decades, thinking that it was his fault. He just like he's there, he's on the island. And he's like, yeah, Gramps found me and flew me in like a month ago. Okay. And then they just kind of left it. Oh, okay, you're back. That's it. Like, they didn't ask no questions. Like, where you been? Like, what happened? How the fuck Gramps knew where you were? Like, nothing. That was weird to me. I don't know. So, they start these games, which the shits is like the Hunger Games, because the shit is brutal. Like, the first game is everybody has to jump up on this rope and hang. Just hang from a fucking rope, right? First person who falls off or gives up or whatever, they're cut out of the will, right? So, the executor of the will, who was the old dude's doctor or whatever, she gets everybody up, they're all up on their ropes. Everybody's up there, they're like, okay. Then all of a sudden, this fucking, like metal spikes just like pop up out of the ground. Okay, so if you fall off, you're getting impaled. So I'm like, okay, this dude is sick. Why would he want to do this to his family? I mean, a couple of them were assholes, of course, but I mean, a lot of rich people are, so you can't really blame them. People who grew up rich and spoiled, a lot of times they are assholes. I'm not saying everybody is, but you know, they usually are. So, yeah. So his current wife is this Diane Carroll looking bougie black lady. And they've got this kid together who is, I don't know, he's maybe early 20s, little, you know. So, of course, the older siblings, you know, they don't like him because he's not their mama's child. And I think partially they don't like him because he's, you know, half black, of course. So throughout the show, in addition to kind of following these weird ass games, they're flashing back throughout time in different phases, and it's confusing. It gets a little muddy because you don't know, you know, if it's present, you don't know if it's a flashback. Shit's just not really clear. I don't know, maybe that's why I just haven't been able to stick with it, because you know, I don't like chaos. Like, the inside of my mind is chaotic enough already. Like, I don't need to add to the shit. So maybe that's why I just haven't really been able to get into it. I don't know, but I mean, like I said, the storyline is decent, and I love that it's gory and it's brutal. Like, all of the components in a movie that I enjoy, it has. But I mean, I don't know. Oh shit. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again. I'll try to watch it later. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. What else is happening? I can't even think of anything. It's crazy because it seems like I'm trying to see what goes with my outfit. I don't know. I love this. This is the Too Faced chocolate gold palette, which I love. I've had it for like a few years actually. There's some colors I've never touched, and then some, of course, that are like empty. But I love it because it actually smells like chocolate. It smells like cocoa. It tastes like it. Mind your business, right? But it's good. I like it. So I find recently, whenever I get excited, whenever a new horror movie is coming out, but it seems like as of late, I'm disappointed because I don't know. I'm just like, nothing's scary anymore. And I don't know if it's me, like, am I desensitized? Like, because I've literally been watching horror movies since I was little. And I mean little, like, I don't mean like little, like a teenager. I mean like 7 years old. Like, I've been watching horror movies. And I don't know if maybe that's why I've been watching movies for so long and I've seen so many different movies. And I don't know. They don't scare me anymore. I will say, as much as I hated Hereditary and as awful as I thought it was originally, it was scary. Like, it was scary. There were some scenes that were, and then I guess, you know, everybody is different in terms of what they consider scary or what they look for in a horror movie. Like, for me, I enjoy, I don't know, like, I really enjoy like psychological thrillers and things like that. So yeah, I guess there's some controversy of what's considered horror. So for me, I feel like anything that were to happen in real life that would be horrifying is a horror movie. I don't feel like horror movies are kind of only consistent of monsters and aliens and zombies. Like, I don't feel like that's only horror. I don't feel like only supernatural stuff can be horror. I feel like anything that could happen in real life, even if it couldn't happen in real life, but anything that were to happen to me that I would find horrifying is a fucking horror movie, because it's literally horrifying. So therefore, horror. A lot of people say Serbian film is not a horror movie. That's a horror movie because that shit's horrible. The movie was not horrible. The movie was great, and I'll probably get hate for saying that, but it was absolutely visually stunning. But the content of the movie was horrible. So to me, that is a fucking horror movie. Horror movie. Anyway, I digress. Well, shit, I don't remember what I was talking about. I don't remember what I digressed from. So, yeah. Anyway, oh, but yeah, so like shit's not scary to me anymore. Hereditary had scary parts. Oh, so for me, I like a jump scare. And I know a lot of people think, oh, jump scares are cheap, they're cheesy, it's like cheap thrills. Well, I'm a cheap bitch because if I'm watching a horror movie, I want to jump. I want to jump. I want to jump out of my seat. I want to scream out loud. Like, those are the things that I enjoy about a horror movie. Excuse me for a second, guys. Because I'm blind as fuck, so I got to get right up on the mirror to see. But, yeah, so I like a jump scare. That is what I look for in a movie. I've kind of learned that I can't have it all, you know, because I be wanting a jump scare. I be wanting a plot to be good. I be wanting the acting to be Oscar worthy, and that's just not realistic. So I've learned to bend a little bit in terms of, you know, what I'll accept in order to say a movie is good. I don't know. You got to pick your battles. But, so Annabelle Comes Home, the last Annabelle movie, to me was the scariest because it had the most jump scares in it. It wasn't necessarily like the best storyline or plot. It wasn't necessarily the best in that sense, but it was scary. Now, if you've seen that one, Annabelle Comes Home, tell me if I'm crazy, right? But how fucking dope would it be if there was a movie, right? Or a mini series or a show or something about everything in the Warrens' basement. Like all of those items that they've collected from cases over the years. Like if they did a movie about each one of those, I feel like that would be so cool. Because there were things that they showed us in that movie from prior cases that have not been talked about in any of the other movies. And it's some shit that I would really like to know about. So I don't know. Maybe it's coming. I don't know how long it takes to make a movie or whatever, but I don't know if they have the idea or not. So, so I have like literally never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. And for some dumbass reason, I thought me talking about Malignant was going to last as long as it took for me to do my makeup. And apparently that's not the case, because I think I done talked about 72 movies and shows and I'm still on my damn eyes. So, yeah, that was an epic fail. So I think at this point, because I don't know what the hell else to talk about, I think I'm just going to say goodbye, and I will come back when I'm done. At least so you can see what the fuck I was working on all this time.